Welcome to the Kids Eating Broccoli podcast, where we believe that raising healthy kids shouldn't be complicated. Our mission is to inspire 20 million families worldwide to take the steps to raise the healthiest generation in our history. We'll interview some of the world's leading experts in nutrition, human potential, and children's health, as well as extraordinary chefs and foodies to gain insight into simple, fun, and creative ways to introduce natural health into homes across this planet. Hey everyone, Dr. Brad here from Kids Eating Broccoli podcast and from drellisor.com. And for today's video, I wanted to talk about the secret to have your kids eat their veggies. Now, I'll let you in on a secret, but there's no one secret. But this is one of the things that has been shared with me by some of the experts that I've gotten an opportunity to interview in the Kids Eating Broccoli podcast that have really illuminated some awesome creative ways to have your kids start eating better, and eating better not only now, but really setting them up to eat better in a healthier way, to have greater health and well-being and more vitality as they get older and go through life and become adults and have their own families. And one of the coolest things is is really getting your kids involved in the process. And so there's a whole number of ways. I mean, I have a list of probably 25 different ways to do this. I'm going to cover just a couple of them in this video about how to get your kids involved in the process. And so one simple, easy way to do that, first off, you can start tomorrow or the next time you go to the grocery store, is have your kids with you. You may already do that, but go to the produce section and start, involving them, in what you're going to buy and maybe why, and tell them, hey, you know what, you guys, you can pick out any one thing from this whole vegetable section and pick something out that's unusual. Maybe you've never had it before. Maybe there's something that you love that you already know about, but have them each pick something out at the vegetable section that they get to choose themselves. And then you can do any number of things once they've done that. If it's something you already know how to prepare and how you want to do it, you can go ahead and do that. But even cooler, even better would be if you can involve them in finding a recipe with you. You can go online. There are so many recipe resources online now. And find a cool recipe to do with those vegetables or that vegetable that they choose. That really highlights it. And you'll be amazed how a kid who doesn't usually like vegetables, if they're involved in the process even that much, just choosing it at the store, how excited they'll be to eat that vegetable when it comes to dinner time. And you might even find that they'll turn into that's their favorite vegetable, whatever, kohlrabi cabbage, or who knows what, some crazy looking thing that they picked out, and they get excited about it because they're part of that creative process. So that's one. Another awesome one that you can use is if you have kids that like to snack a lot, which who doesn't, I mean, my kids are always trying to get snacks. And so another awesome idea you can do with that is if, once a week or every few days, what you do is you just find a whole bunch of raw vegetables, maybe some fruit, but not a lot of sweet fruits. And you prepare it. So you take an hour or half an hour, whatever it is, you put carrots in, carrot sticks, celery sticks. My kids love red and orange and yellow peppers, cucumbers, things like that. Slice them up, and what you can do is you can make, get little boxes that go in the fridge and have one for each kid. And so, Jimmy gets one, Carol gets one, whoever, all the kids get one of their little boxes. You put those snacks in there, and then whenever they want a snack, whenever they're hungry or want to eat, they know that they can go in the fridge and pull out their box and eat any of that stuff that they want. And that autonomy and that not having to, always check with mom, and maybe she says no, maybe she says yes, and that knowing that ownership of that section and that's their thing, especially for younger kids who, aren't typically part of the food process very much, it's awesome. They get excited about it. It's their, special thing that they get to do. So that's another awesome one, getting them involved. And then the cooking process itself. And I mean, the cooking process is one of those things that is slowly or quickly, depending on, but it's slowly getting lost in our culture. As people get busier and have less time to spend on domestic things, both parents working, all that kind of stuff, and busier, that's one of the things that's kind of going out the window is people preparing the food. But if you can slow that down a little bit and spend that time preparing the food and involve the kids in it, like we get even my 2-year-old involved. She loves to get up on the stool, so she's up at the counter height, stir things and be part of it. And my wife will do that with her a lot. And then when I get home, often she'll be like, "Oh yeah, tell Daddy what you did." And she's like, "We made this." It's exciting. And so when it comes time to eat that thing, she's so excited to eat it. And try those type of things with your kids, because if we're ever involved in a creative process, it brings so much more enjoyment to whatever the end product is that we made, rather than kind of going off doing our own thing and then showing up at the table and there's just something stuck in front of us that we have no relationship with. See, that's the thing. If you help pick it out at the store, or you have that little box in the fridge that's your little box, or you help in the preparation, you have an ownership now that naturally occurs. And when you have that, you put more value on the thing. And so if there's more value placed on it, you might be willing to, or you're likely to be willing to, and this is the kids, of course, would be willing to sort of bypass some of their first objections, like, oh, it tastes, it's not sweet, it's not a flavor that I normally like, the texture is different than, the one thing that I usually like, and, to be adventurous and try it out. My absolute favorite one to do with this is gardening. And so, depending on your degree of gardening, and if you don't garden, if you don't grow vegetables at all, I highly recommend it for so many reasons. But I mean, through the history of humanity, or at least the history of the last 10,000 years, certainly, gardening has been something that's handed down from generation to generation. And is again another one of those things that's kind of been getting lost. In my own experience, I didn't get much experience with that. My parents, they grew tomatoes a few times in our backyard, but that was really it. And so many of the people in my generation, we didn't get that example from our parents because things started to modernize. There was convenience, supermarkets, grocery stores, all that kind of stuff. But being able to grow your own food is such a basic, part of being a human that we should all really look to get in touch with that. So whatever level you're at, if you already grow a garden, great. If you don't, start small, a little box, a few pots, whatever it takes, but involve the kids in it, because if they're a part of it, they help you weed, they help you water, they're out there working in the soil. It gives it more of that relationship again and the value into those foods. And we grow vegetables out in our backyard, and we grow a lot of dark leafy green vegetables. One, that they're easy to grow, and two, we eat a lot of them. So, but I mean, I find my kids out there picking leaves off of kales, different, really intense flavored kales, mustard greens, which if you've ever had those, they're very strong tasting, and different things like that, and just eating them raw, because it's like, there's something sort of primal and instinctual about picking fresh vegetables and eating them right there, that, where maybe at the table when it's cooked, or, at the normal environment that maybe we have those struggles with, and that, or school or that type of stuff, maybe they wouldn't go there with it. But if it's right out of the garden, that they've had a part to play in the whole process, the weeding and the watering and the planting and the caring, that it will often make you and them love the food so much more. So give that a try, because that's the absolute best one as far as I can tell, as far as my experience is in really having your kids be involved. So if we remember from what we've been talking about along the way, we want to be the example, because really, I mean, yes, what my kids eat for dinner tonight, what your kids eat for dinner tonight, what they eat tomorrow, that's vital to their growth and development and all that kind of good stuff. But what they learn about food and interacting with food and interacting with their environment by eating and taking care of their body, and then what they learn and experience by listening to how their body responds to those things that they eat, and the amounts and the quantity, quality, how it's prepared, all that kind of stuff. Those are lessons that last a lifetime. If we can get in touch with our own instinctual and normal biological sense of eating food that's beneficial to us, that's something we can take with us for our lifetime. If my kids at age 9, 6, and 2 can start really tapping into, or continue to tap into, their own inner knowing of foods that are healthy for them, what's going to serve them the most at this moment, not at this moment. They could go to another country, another culture where there's foods that they don't even recognize. They could be in all kinds of situations as they grow and develop and change. The world changes, all that kind of stuff. But if they have that, they can always be course correcting and making good decisions that will serve them in having their health and their body and their vitality be supportive to what they're looking to create in their lives. Because that's really the whole point. I mean, isn't it? Of being healthy and being well. It's not just to be healthy and well and be sitting on a couch somewhere or whatever. It's to be healthy and well and have vitality and clear thinking and tons of energy so that we can go and create and be and do those things we want to do in life. And as a parent, we want that for our kids, right? We want them to excel and have opportunity and be able to do whatever they want and create and follow their passions and their dreams and be the people who the pioneers in whatever they're up to and come up with new stuff and really make the world a better place and have fun and enjoy and have great lives. And so today's video is really all about, and they all, if you follow the theme through all the videos we've been doing, one of the common threads that ties through them all is not only having our kids eat healthier today, which is great. We want them to eat their broccoli and their vegetables so they have, do well in school tomorrow and all that kind of stuff. But really, we want to impress a foundation of quality and healthy lifestyle and healthy interactions and relationships with ourselves, with our food. And really, as parents, we start with us. We have to exemplify that with ourselves, and then our kids learn that. So I hope that's helpful. Let me know how it goes. Try some of those things out. If you're doing them already, tell me how it's working or not. If you haven't tried it, give some of those things a try. Like I said, the fastest, easiest one is at the grocery store. Start there. Start involving your kids in the preparation. Start a garden. It's coming up in the springtime. Depends on where you live. You might just got a blizzard. I don't know. But and so start that process and get them involved because these are lessons that carry on for our entire lives and make for a happy and healthy life. Okay. This is Dr. Brad from Kids Eating Broccoli Podcast and drelsor.com and to my Chiropractic Wellness Center. And I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for listening.
If you enjoyed this episode of Kids Eating Broccoli Podcast, connect with us online. You can find us on Facebook at Kids Eating Broccoli Podcast or at Dr. Brad Ellisor DC. You can also go to our website, drellisor.com. That's DOCTORELLISOR.com. Go to iTunes and leave us a review and a rating, or on Stitcher. And be sure to keep in touch with us so you can hear the next episode. Sign up for our mailing list or like us on Facebook. You guys take care now, and let's make the next generation the best generation.